Now, on this one, I wanted to talk about a situation that I saw online. I don't know if the situation was a real situation or if it was just something that was filmed as a skit, because sometimes people take real situations and you're not sure if it's real in the sense that it really happened real time or was it just something y'all made up as a skit. But I'm going to play along with it as if it was real. A young black lady was on a date with a guy. Supposedly guy looked like he may have been Indian or something, and supposedly he took her to Cheesecake Factory. And she was in the car and she refused to get out of the car because she was going on about he at this point he was out the car and she was saying, "Oh, can you believe he would take me to Cheesecake Factory? You're gonna take me to a franchise restaurant? Look at me," and all that, this, that, and the third. So I said, you know what? Let me talk about this. Okay, you know what? Let's cut to the chase. I'm 53 years old. Not ashamed of my age, but more than that, I'm saying that because when I'm talking to young men from a standpoint of somebody who's been there. I've been through the shit, I've been through it, so I understand, at an older age, looking back, okay, this is what happened. This is how I got played back then. Okay, first, we're gonna go through different channels of this story. First of all, gratefulness is a spirit that is always appreciated. You never want to deal, as a man, you never want to deal with a woman that's ungrateful. Because at the end of the day, you know, I always look at it like this. I don't care if you're at a $12 buffet. That man could have sat at that buffet by himself and spent his money on himself. But instead, he decided to spend another $15, $16 on somebody else that he didn't have to, for one. So be grateful. Because you know what's funny? I was, one time I was at a buffet and I'm just looking at fine women too, man. They just eating away and having a good old time. And I remember thinking, because I'm always in thought mode, and I remember thinking, they're eating away, having such a good time. But if they was to go out on a date and some young brother was to take them to the same buffet, they would raise all type of, issues. And I can't believe he took me here and you're eating away. But when you're on your own time, you can eat there. Let me tell you to cut to the chase. Brothers, young or old, I don't know who I'm talking to, young, older, whoever. Women already know who they like. There's a different reality in this world for every man. And you've gone through it. Even for those who may have gone through something like that with the Cheesecake Factory, you've gone through this role of being the other man in some shape or form. And when I say the other man, I don't mean the other man in the sense that she cheated with you. No, that's not what I mean. I mean the other man in terms of how you were treated. Most men, unless something's seriously wrong with you, we've had situations, where you can look back and say, man, when I dealt with old girl, she got freaky with me. She did this, she did that. And when I look back, I didn't really give her nothing. Sometimes, from a younger standpoint, you might even think, there's no telling who else she did that to. But guess what? She ain't do that with everybody. There's some dude that she made take her to Red Lobster, this, that, Longhorn Steakhouse, all that, because she didn't see him the way she saw you. See, there's nothing wrong with spending money on a woman if you guys have an understanding. What I mean by that is, if you know at the end of the day, you're not spending to get her attention or to, that doesn't count. Y'all just doing something. Y'all, that's just social, something for y'all to do socially, but when you have to lead with your wallet, it becomes an issue. Because when a woman truly likes you and she's truly interested, you spending your money isn't the top priority. Her getting to getting the chance to get next to you is a priority. And she can't wait for you to get next to her. But if a woman doesn't find you attractive, or even if you're just sort of on that borderline where she's looking at you like, he's all right, but you don't necessarily tickle her fancy, well, then you wind up in that category as somebody that has to woo her. You got to drive this kind of car. You got to spend this type of money. You got to do this, that, and the third. Don't waste your time, fellas. There's too many women out there for you to be dealing with somebody that's going to be mad because you took them to Cheesecake Factory or Applebee's or wherever you could afford to take them to. Trust me on that. A lot, and I'm not even going to talk about what the young lady looked like because that's whatever. She thought she was all that. I didn't see nothing personally that great about her, but that's not the basis of this story. The thing is, there's women out there that's way finer than her that would have met up with a brother at a library and talked to him. So when it just that just shows me that fellas, never underestimate yourself when it comes to talking to a fine woman, because some of these finer women are more down to earth than these average hood rat women. And when you get to know them, you be like, wow, she's pretty and she's down to earth and she don't want nothing. When you get a little wiser in the game, you get to, just like chicks can test you, you can test chicks to see where they stand with you. When if a female says, she works with you, she says, I'm going to lunch. See if she offers to buy you something. Just because that shows you what type of person she is. It gives you a look into her character. Nothing wrong with a man spending money from time to time, but you want to see what you're dealing with before you really get knee deep into the situation. Because some women are truly, looking at you as to be that guy. And you know what that means. If they're looking at you to be the guy to provide something, that means they got somebody else taking care of that action. And you don't want to end up in that situation because it's women everywhere. By the time you go into the mall and go into another store, you see more women. By the time you leave that mall parking lot, you're going to see 3 or 4 more women walking in. By the time you get to the gas station, you're going to see more chicks at the gas station. Translation is too many women for you to be going through that shit. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Buy your own cheesecake and comment. And also, peace, love, and whatever else you think of love.